Hey guys, this is SC Vincent, and this is the second anime collection video. Um, so this will be letters C through D. So that's actually, you know, not a lot and when you hear it, but it's an entire shelf. It's the second shelf. But first, let me introduce myself. I am an author, actually. Um, so I've released 3 books. The Arcadian Destiny, East of Fallen, and the Sakura Element. This one's kind of more like your high fantasy Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones type, you know, book. This one's kind of more of a, also high fantasy, but with a bit more of like a, video game feel or a biblical feel. And this one's more of a young adult science fiction type um, book with like some dystopian, has like lightsaber kind of type of thing. So if you really want to check out what this channel is, what I'm doing with it, it's kind of help promote my books. So if you really want something good to read, go ahead and click the link in the description below and check out some of my books. You can get them pretty cheap for just like $2.99. So I just wanted to get that out of the way before I started the next shelf. And here's Waluigi. He's gonna help us out. So I was looking at the comments of the last video, which did surprisingly well, and I thought there were some assumptions about me that some people said because of my collection that I was rich. And I just kind of want to say that that's not really true. So basically, the way that I have all this anime is that I've been collecting anime for over 24 years. So I've been buying anime my entire life. I've been buying it since they put it out on VHS. And then I would get it on DVD. And then I would like sell old versions and to upgrade to like the Blu-ray versions or whatever. And then I would save up money from jobs to buy anime, or if I had a birthday or a Christmas or whatever, then I would use all of that money to buy anime. So it's like if you take that into consideration with a time span of like 20 plus years of buying this stuff, it's not unbelievable that I would have such a large collection. And I've seen people who, if you actually see people with these shelves of anime or whatever, they have entire roomfuls. I have about two, maybe 2.5 of book cases of anime. So that's kind of like how this collection started, actually. It's just, I saw it all on, as a kid, I saw it on Toonami. And, back then it was Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. And I have, that kind of started everything. Tenchi Muyo. And, I have all those in my collection. We'll get to them eventually. But that's what just wanted to clear up some misconceptions. I work for everything, all the money I have. So, anything else? I think somebody, some people are going to make some response videos, which is cool. If anybody wants, to comment or make response videos, go ahead and check that out, and I'll check it out. And I reply to all the comments. I read them all. It really helps if you check out my books and you like and you sub. But let's get to the letter C, because we started off at City Hunter, but there's still more on the next shelf. So now we're going down. So this is Clannad. This is the complete collection, and Clannad is kind of like a romance show, but it's also a very sad show. So I have, you get the first series and the second series, the after story. it can be a tearjerker if you're not, if you don't know what's gonna happen. You know, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it can definitely be a very sad story. Um, but I would definitely recommend it. I didn't think it'd be the type of show that I liked, but I actually really liked it. Uh, Now, Code Geass. This was a show I watched when it first aired in Japan. Um, you know, I watched it when, you know, this was back when people had like fan subs. You know, they don't do fan subs anymore. You know, everything's owned by companies and like Crunchyroll and stuff. But so I liked Code Geass when it first started, when I was like 15. But now I tried, you know, watching this a couple years ago when I got these releases. I got these sets. I had to say, Code Geass kind of didn't hold up for me. I don't really like it. You know, when I see Suzaku, whatever his name was, running faster than bullets and jumping in the air to kick, um, to kick a machine gun, it just didn't really, it didn't work for me. Like I'm more used to, I guess I was expecting something a bit more realistic, but whatever. And then there's this movie here, which I've had for a while, but I've never watched it. Colorful. Um, so I mean, I definitely recommend Clannad, and I guess if you might like Code Geass, a lot of people like it. I haven't watched this one. And then, kind of an older release of this classic everyone's seen, Cowboy Bebop. This is probably one of the best releases of the show, even though it's DVD. A lot of the Blu-ray versions haven't been the greatest. This has a good sound remix. So, if you come across this pretty cheap, go ahead and check it out, I would say. This is a classic show, so definitely get that. Then I have the movie, the old DVD version of the movie. Like I said, some of this stuff is older. This is takes place, I think, between episodes like 21 or 20 or something like that. From my, if I'm remembering it correctly. I think the show is better than the movie, but the movie was kind of fun to watch. Then you have here Crest of the Stars and Banner of the Stars. And I know that a lot of people at Funimation, who worked at Funimation or Crunchyroll, really liked this show. And they finally got to release it because it was something they really liked. I did not like this series. I really disliked the main character. He was kind of a pushover and a loser. And he kind of failed humanity in the story. So I really didn't like it. So I can't recommend it. Then there's, see if I can pronounce this correctly. I don't know if this is even still getting released. That's the other thing, is some of my releases are, I mean, some of the anime I have are not available because they're so old and they haven't been relicensed because they're in licensing hell. So, it's like, oh, I have it, but it's like no one else, like you can't get it now anymore. So I don't know the situation with Camaraderie High School. I think I watched this once when I first got it, so I haven't watched it in a long time. It's a comedy show. If you ever see that picture, that like reaction image or whatever of Freddie Mercury, it comes from this show. Kind of reminds me of Gintama a little bit. And then Discotek. Discotek is one of those show companies that will license a show, and then but their license will only last for about 2-3 years, and then their show, it'll go out of stock, and you won't be able to get it ever again. So like if you're a collector and you want to get, and you're getting into anime, when a Discotek releases something, especially when they say they'll have limited stock, get it ASAP. So I think Cyborg 009, I think that's out of stock. Like I don't think they can make it anymore. I haven't watched it yet. This is also on Toonami when I was younger. It looks really cool. Has that unique, I think Tezuka, was this a Tezuka show? manga, but it kind of has that old-fashioned art style. That's good. That in and of itself is interesting to look at. And then there's Darker Than Black. This was, from what I remember, a decent show, so I would recommend it. Um, so let's see. I would not recommend Banner. Camaraderie High, I would recommend. Cyborg has good reviews, so I would check it out. Darker Than Black, I would check out. And then this is another one of the Discotek releases I'm talking about. Dear Brother, this is a romance shoujo anime, and also one of those ones that Discotek has a limited time of releasing in the West. And I think you still might be able to get it, but I don't think they're able to produce anymore soon. I haven't watched it yet, but it was directed by the guy who did there you go, Osamu Dezaki. Literally almost everything he's ever done is like a classic show, so you definitely need to check it out. And then these are the old releases of Death Note. Now, if you haven't seen Death Note or you haven't heard of it, you've been living under a rock. But even when it first came out, it was an instant hit, and it has remained a hit with its various adaptations. Quality, maybe not be the best, especially with that Netflix one. But Death Note is an original idea and definitely worth checking out. Very good show. So then I have a few Demon Slayers here. I haven't gotten completely up to date on part of my voice, but I have about the first season, and then I have the TV version of the Mugen Train arc. I haven't watched these yet. I'm gonna buy it all before I watch it, because the manga's finished, and the manga is supposed to be really good. So I don't have a problem with just waiting until they finish adapting it, and while at the same time buying it and just collecting it all before I watch it. Then I have here a show called Den-O Coil. Pardon my shaky hands again. Den-O Coil is a show where kind of virtual reality starts affecting the reality, and these kids kind of have to go on this journey in their neighborhood to kind of stop all the bad stuff that's happening. It's a decent show. It's worth watching. I don't know if I would say it's worth buying, but it's okay. Then I have this show here called Desert Punk. This is an old release. I would say I didn't like it when I watched it. I don't even really remember all that much about it. And then here, so I wouldn't recommend it. I have the first Digimon series in Japanese, because I wanted the actual real version and not the dub version. And there's some controversy about the original version with certain words, certain taboos, but it's if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And then I have Dirty Pair. This is a cool kind of 80s sci-fi show where they kind of take on odd jobs and kind of save whatever they're doing. Whatever, if like the city they're living in is having some trouble, they go in there and save it, and they figure out the problems. I think I watched maybe the first, I don't know how many episodes I watched of this. I think maybe, I don't know if I've even completed watching it. I don't remember. So, and then I have, this is probably one of the most unique shows. You may have heard about this because they remade it within the last couple of years. called Dororo. But this is the original one. And it was done in black and white. This is, I think, the only black and white anime I have. And this show has really slow pace, but it has like that good payoff that old movies have, where it has a slow pace, but it's like still really good. So definitely, if you can find it, check out the original version of Dororo. I need to get the new version, but to me, it's like, well, I'm just buying the same show again, just in a new coat of paint. So I haven't done it, but definitely, I mean, I can recommend the original. Then here is the exhausting, huge release of Dragon Ball content I have. I own everything Dragon Ball that has ever been released in the West, in terms of like the actual episodes and specials and all of that. So here is every episode of the Dragon Ball TV series, seasons 1 through 5. These are, Funimation releases, so they are what they are. They're not perfect, but definitely recommend Dragon Ball. Watch it. I would say read the manga and watch it in Japanese. I don't recommend the dub. I'm not a dub guy. When I was a kid, I was a dub guy, but I'm not anymore. So I guess you might want to see the covers. There's Son Goku in his original outfit, and that's for season 1. Season 2 is a young Krillin using the Kamehameha for the first time. Then for set 3 is Master Roshi. Set 4 is King Piccolo. Set 5 is grown up Goku, or teenage Goku. Well, I think he's a teenager throughout the entire show, or at least something like that, even though he looks like a kid. And then so I got rid of my original Dragon Ball Z releases, and I replaced them with Dragon Ball Z Kai because I like the manga more than I like the TV show. So I didn't like any of the filler. As a kid, I liked it. I didn't know any better. But then I read the manga, and I'm like, wow, it really takes away from the actual story. So I got Kai, which cuts down significantly on the episode count and filler. So I have all of Dragon Ball Z Kai, and the covers were Goku fighting Frieza, and here is Trunks, I guess, killing Frieza, and then Gohan doing the Kamehameha blast with Goku behind him, the spirit of Goku helping him. And then what they did and then that was it for the original run of Kai. But then all the fans were like, what about Majin Buu? What about the Buu arc? So they brought Kai back, but they didn't do as much of a episode cut as before. So there's 3 sets of the Buu arc. And it also has like a green tint, so it's not as good as the other sets. But there's Goku and Vegeta fighting at Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan 3 Goku fighting Majin Buu. And Super Saiyan 3 Goku fighting another Majin Buu. And then it starts getting into the canon movie sequels of Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods and Dragon Ball Z Resurrection of Frieza, or F. And of course, I recommend all of these. I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, so I would say definitely watch Dragon Ball, and definitely hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the link in my description. Check out the books that I write, because it helps support the channel, and it's why I do what I do here. And in the next video, we're going to go through letters D through F. And there's going to be more Dragon Ball for sure. So thank you very much, guys. I will see you next time.